My name is Erik Ehn, and I'm the playwright of Clover. The play is in 4 parts and tries to approach this issue of damage and loss and grieving and hope from a range of perspectives. So it's mournful and playful and silly and reflective. This is a way I like to write in a kind of stellar pattern. I like to get around a subject that way. So the stories, as you tune into the rhythms of the play, are actually pretty straightforward. One of the inspirations for the play were ballads, and the plays move as swiftly but basically as simply as ballads do. One thing happens and then another thing happens under a quality of attention. So if at first there's a strangeness or a challenge in the form, it's because a play is trying to act like a song. But in the end, one is meant to resonate with the plays as directly as one resonates with the song. We're living in a time of great isolation. This isolation is perpetrated by selfishness and results in alienation. So hopelessness is breeding hopelessness. The hopelessness of the solipsistic position is cascading down to that terrible sensation that we're neglected to a point that's beyond recovery. This is true in economic terms, in racial terms, in political terms, in spiritual terms. As I was saying before, I believe that there is a way of thinking, using your intelligence, and a way of applying your heart that sees a light moving across ruins, that while we're in a damaged or ruined landscape, there is a power that comprehends that ruin or transgresses that ruin, that power of spirit, that power of hope. So in this ruined time, I want us to gather to create these small temporary communities that will form around the witness of the play and practice hoping. That hope is not an easy happiness. It's not an elation necessarily. Hope is expensive. Hope is hard, especially as the challenge is so vivid. But I truly believe it's real, and that we'll know it when we're in a room with it in the public plural. I was on a writing retreat in West Texas, out in the desert with snakes and armadillos, and it's a good environment to consider loss and time. So the play that began to emerge there was about those things, about how to persevere through loss to hope, which is not always a joyful place, but it's a place of creative possibility. So in the brokenness and aridity of the desert, to train one's spirit to wait for rain. That was the impetus. And the desert's not a bad place to think in cosmic, or for me, religious terms. I was raised a Catholic, and the idea of the Trinity came up as a way to explore or frame up a journey through loss, where the creator is the one who, in the act of creating, loses everything, loses persistently, loses forever. Everything that's created is a giving up or a giving away. The Son, who is what is sacrificed, and the Spirit, which moves between us all and is maybe the wind in our sails, or that possibility that in that damage we can find the grace of possibility. So that's a 3-leaf clover, and then I added it seemed right to add a 4-leaf clover. And the 4th is those who believe they can hide from love. And in a way that completes the Trinity. It's what the Trinity serves. We have a habit of attaching ourselves to our guilt or living in or with the damage that's around us. But there are possibilities beyond that, I believe. Teaching is a great occupation for writers because you're forced to continually break yourself down. That every time you think you have a bright idea, somebody comes up with a brighter idea. And when you come into the classroom with energy, there's more energy coming towards you. So the best thing about teaching is that it keeps you learning. Playwriting is this thousands and thousands of year old stinky onion that keeps billowing out and shedding itself. And the students I have in the classroom are writing plays that I couldn't have imagined ever calling plays 10 years ago. So it's very nutritious, very helpful. I'm inspired from the family on out. So my partner is a persistent lover and grounds me in this idea of hope. Then I'm attracted to a way of working theatrically that endorses and relies on the notion of family. So it's not an accident that we're at a theater called La Mama, that there is a matriarch at the heart of it. I believe in gift economies. I'm not averse to ever making money, but I believe the first bond needs to be volitional exchanges of gifts. And La Mama works that way. There are theaters, as a playwright, you get an address from and send a script out, and you try to lobby at parties and you make the scene there, whatever, and that's a fine way to go, I guess. But at La Mama, it's more affective, and you can sit in a room, look somebody in the eye, and get an idea of a future together. And that's the way it was with Mia Yu, who is an outstanding daughter of Ellen Stewart, and welcomed me warmly and not falsely on the proper terms of an artistic relationship. I met Gloria Kadigan, who's the director of the piece, on a La Mama Umbria retreat. And Umbria really is as much a utopia as you may imagine it to be. Beautiful food being pulled out of hundreds of year old Etruscan ovens, and incredible sunsets and the best gelato in the world. I would stipulate that. In that context, in Ellen's home, which is still very much a home and not just a venue, the temporary family of learners and teachers develops a bond that's extremely memorable. And Glory was there when I was there, and we're kind of inseparable now.